I'm Dylan, student athlete, currently a rising sophomore.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I'm here with Dylan, and Dylan's going to give us the game on what it is to be a student athlete. I saw Dylan from Coach King, and Coach King is working with him while he's on his break. And I think Coach King worked with you before, right? Before
Yeah.
you went to school?
Yeah.
You guys, the title's No Cap. Dylan, I've been talking about his 5.9 GPA before he went to Princeton because I think I need to go back and see if I can get that 1.9 to at least like a 3.9. But I had stuff to do. I was doing stuff. But we're going to just take a walk, talk about what it is to be a student athlete, NIL deals, working for or with, I should say, a venture capital firm while in school. You guys, come on, let's walk and talk. Being a student athlete now, it took a lot of, for you, going to like the Ivy League, you had to get your grades from like when? Elementary, did you start tracking that stuff?
Well, as far as focusing on like school, that kind of really happened more middle school. I've always been into sports, but track wasn't until like later in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, getting into middle school, when you were applying for college, did your middle school grades count?
No. No, they didn't look at middle school grades. I think those really just helped like get me momentum for when I got into high school. I could get into higher level classes. I was more used to study techniques, time management. So they did help, but no, they didn't look at grades at all in middle school.
Okay, so it's not too late. By the time you were to get in high school, are you going to school with anybody who like wasn't a good student? Is there anyone at Princeton that was like, look, it was my senior year. I took this seriously. I got a great SAT or AC2 score, and now I'm here. Or is it kind of too late if you're like in your senior year or junior year in high school to even think about going to Princeton?
So I think it depends. There's obviously a lot of factors that go into it. It's definitely like common for a lot of the people there to, this has been something they've been working towards, starting younger. But of course there's like other factors. Maybe if they didn't have, the best grades, but they're really good at piano or they have like some skills that they're really good at, then of course there's like people that get in for all sorts of reasons. So it really depends.
Okay. Now I know Princeton from Carlton and Fresh Prince. I always talk about going to Princeton. Have you seen the Carltons at the Princeton that this was their dream? They're living their dream, and like these are probably the future leaders. How has it been to be able to connect with people there? Are they just people? They just have great grades and at a great school.
So I think one, they are just people. Like I think it's easy to put people on a pedestal just because of where they are, but like when you really get to know them, everyone's really cool. And everyone has their own story. Of course, like at the same time, there are people who have done some really amazing things. And it's a great experience being around people like that. But no, at the end of the day, like they're just like you or me. And yeah, they're just fun people to be around and really grateful.
Well, I'm like all the way outside the box. I don't even want to be buried in a box in 76 years. You guys have that on record, so no need to fight about that. I say it often. Yeah, unless they put me like in an AI digital box, and then I'm
Yeah.
still, moving and grooving. But when you're at a certain level, like I know guys who went to Harvard, and the first thing they tell somebody, well, I went to Harvard, right? And so
really?
I would assume, no, not me, them.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
them, they're
yeah,
like, I went to Harvard, and I meet a lot of women who say, I don't even want to talk to that guy because all he says is how he went to Harvard, and at Harvard, this is how we did this.
say that I think track maybe has a little less of that than like I usually play it like basketball, for example. Like has a little less of that than like basketball because, in track, I guess you can race people, but basketball you can constantly just be like playing random people
Yeah.
like on the street or something. So that's like it's like a little different, a little less, but no, it's still just as competitive, I think, in any sport and like learning how to block those things out and just focus on yourself is like really a really important part of developing.
Okay. And I'm competitive. Like when I see this rock climbing wall right here, I want to get on that
Hell
because
yeah.
I used to be cold on the rock climbing wall in my own arena. Let
Yeah,
that get in the
yeah.
Olympics. I'll show you. But with the student athlete, do you find that Princeton is any harder? Is it, I mean, this is your first school,
Mhm.
but is it just school? Is it just doing the same kind of study regimen? Are the professors out there like, wait, this is really hard? They're going deep. I got to read a book just to find out what the book he was talking about.
Um, I will say that the transition to Princeton is unlike any like for me personally, I struggled in the beginning because of course like the pace is just so fast, particularly compared to high school. And I've found that's common amongst like all my fellow classmates at Princeton. So I definitely think there's like a big change. And a lot of developing has to be done, but I think it's all for the better because I think all of us found ourselves towards this end of the first semester, even then the second semester, finding it that we could do the same things, if not more, with like, less mental effort because we were more disciplined, better with time management. And I think we were all just developing like together. So it is a lot in the beginning, but you really find yourself becoming a better person.
Okay.